Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar, 5 Key Metrics for Dynamics 365 for Field Service. We appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to join us today. There are a couple of housekeeping items we'd like to mention before we begin the presentation. All attendees are in listen-only mode. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please either raise your hand so that we can unmute you, or you can submit them through the GoToWebinar question box. We will be answering questions throughout the presentation and will also follow up after the presentation to answer any additional questions. I'd like to introduce today's speaker. We have Lisa Steinhardt, who is a Dynamics 365 for Customer Engagement Business Development Consultant here at Socius. So at this point, Lisa, I believe we're ready to transition the presentation over to you.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Again, I'm Lisa Steinhardt. Thank you so much for attending Mastering the Top 5 Field Service Metrics for Microsoft Dynamics 365. So let's go ahead and get started. There we go. Sorry about that. So here is what our agenda looks like for today. There are 5 key metrics that every field service organization should be measuring and monitoring. And in this presentation today, you're going to see how Dynamics 365 helps you to do this. So we're going to first talk about the 5 metrics and how Dynamics 365 helps you track those metrics. And then you're going to experience Dynamics 365 field service so that you can see for yourself. So let's first start out with the current state of the majority of field service organizations. Today, the systems that we're using in field service provide work orders, but they're static pieces of information that really don't provide clarity. Think about paper-based work orders, for example. The field techs are disconnected in the field, meaning they don't have access to the information or people that they may need to communicate with. Seasoned field techs might know their stuff, but onboarding of new hires takes too long to deliver the same level of service. Or each tech has their own way to process work. Some may be highly effective, where others may not adhere to what you would consider to be best practices. And then the time from order completion is longer than it should be. And this could be from things like a lack of signature, a lack of clarity in reporting, but could also be caused by clunky data entry processes as maybe billing data is retyped into another billing system. And so what do these things result in? What are the results of these inefficiencies? And there's really 3 of them. First and foremost, they reduce customer satisfaction. It produces revenue leakage throughout your organization through lack of visibility to people, services, process, and even product. Not to mention things like wear and tear on the fleet and gasoline expenses. And then finally, and at the end of the day, minimalizes the customer experience, which is what we're all after. So Dynamics 365 enables field service organizations to focus on delivering exceptional customer experiences, which is what differentiates you from your competitors, while at the same time being able to measure and monitor cost and margin so that you can reduce revenue leakage. So through mobility, improved visibility, and workflow, Dynamics 365 can help you focus on the 5 key metrics that field service providers should be tracking in order to deliver a great customer experience. So let's jump into what those 5 are. And the first one is first-time fix rate. And you've all been here where you've tried to get a problem solved and it takes Time Warner Cable or AT&T 3 trips and 6 phone calls to get it right. This has a big impact on customer satisfaction. And 3 ways that Dynamics 365 helps you track and improve first-time order resolution is by, first and foremost, providing schedulers with access to the service tech skill sets that they might need so that they can schedule the right person for the job. Also providing process for the field service techs to ensure that the right diagnostics or services are performed and to identify the reason for the problem. Accurately equipping trucks with the right parts for the right jobs so that they have the products that they need to do the job the first time. And finally, providing access to the historical information on the equipment that they're servicing. This could be things like prior fixes, maintenance, parts, repair notes, any information that might help the service tech be able to complete the work order the first time. The second metric is all about field tech performance, and getting good visibility on both the individual and the team on performance is critical to providing that excellent customer experience we're after. And this is how you evaluate whether coaching is needed or training, or that maybe the services that you're offering might need to be revised. And 3 ways that Dynamics 365 improves field tech performance is by first automating the capture of time and execution in the field. And this helps you to develop acceptable standards that you're striving for. And with this information, you can develop acceptable standards to drive towards, which in turn can increase margin or revenue, or even help determine maybe additional training that's needed. Automating the capture of customer sentiment through things like scheduled questionnaires that can be delivered by email or text. And then as the system is collecting all this data, being able to provide you with a dashboard so that you can capture that information in real time and measure it. All these things help you be able to manage field tech performance. The third metric is all about response time. Getting people to the job efficiently and cost effectively saves both time and money for field service organizations. And Dynamics 365, as you'll see in the demo that I have for you, has several features that improve response times. And the first one is route optimization. And this is so schedulers can see availability and send techs with the right skills to the jobs that they're well suited for, but that maybe are also closest to where they currently are in the field. This visibility to the what we call the scheduling board really gives you a 360-degree view of all of the service techs that can be scheduled so that you can schedule them quickly. For example, you can also have visibility to things like canceled calls so that you know where you have a hole in the schedule where you might be able to fill that space with another work order. And then finally, automated routing capabilities. These help you to ensure that you save gas, you save wear and tear on fleets, and you efficiently route the right people to the right jobs. Number 4, everybody's favorite, inventory management. Effective inventory management reduces cost so that you're not buying parts that you already have, or you're not seeing them mysteriously disappear. And there are 3 ways that Dynamics 365 does this for you. First is mobile access to the inventory visibility. So for example, the ability for a tech to look up a part to see if it's in the warehouse or on a nearby truck. Ensuring the capture of things like returns and orders and transfers. All of these things impact whether or not your inventory numbers are correct. Tracking all of the movement of parts is critical. And then, of course, the ability to forecast material requirements, whether that's for the week based on specific work order activity or even from a purchasing perspective. And I think you'll see through the demo how Dynamics 365 helps you capture that information so that you can keep better track of that inventory. And finally, customer satisfaction. Connecting with the customer is where Dynamics 365 really shines, and I'm going to show you a couple ways that it does that. The first thing is automated multi-channel alerts, which can be delivered to the customer by email or text, or even to a customer portal, which is going to track the entire job for them. Providing the ability for customers to self-serve, as well as being able to create tickets from their phone or the web, helps to enhance customer satisfaction. And certainly it makes the customer feel like they are more in control and have instant access to information. And then I think finally, enhancing communication via voice, video, messaging, for example, through Office 365 and Skype. And an example of this might be if you've got a service tech out in the field and they're going to fix some equipment, and maybe they have a question or a problem, or maybe they need a more seasoned field tech to walk them through something. With Skype in Office 365, for example, You could do a video call very quickly on your mobile phone so that a more seasoned tech could help them through that particular problem that they're having. So with that, let's go ahead and have you take a look at Dynamics 365 so that you can see how the system measures and helps you manage all of this information, and helps you, of course, measure and manage the metrics that we have set aside. I should mention also that while we've listed the top 5 metrics, we certainly understand that there are more. We just wanted to call out really the top 5 that are probably the most important and provide the best return on investment. Field service challenges today are kind of threefold. Being able to manage those service requests effectively, being able to dispatch those work orders effectively and quickly, and then finally ensuring consistent quality work that not only meets your standards but meets the standards of the client. And again, all of these things impact the metrics. So what you're going to see today in the Dynamics 365 demo is the ability for the system to help you improve service delivery, help you be able to measure the outcomes of what your field techs are doing. Anything that we put into the system you can measure, which can be highly effective and help you track those metrics. We'll get to that in just a second. And then finally, delivering positive experiences. Again, it's all about the customer experience. So let's try that one more time. There we go. So what you're seeing here, this is how the demo is going to flow. We're going to start with the point of view of the customer. We're then going to switch over to the point of view of the dispatcher that's responsible for dispatching those orders. We'll then experience the system through the eyes of the field technician that's out in the field. And then finally, we will wrap with the service manager, the person who's responsible for really gathering and looking at the metrics so that you can better your operations. So let's start with Veronica Barnes. She is the customer. She is a professional healthcare worker, and she has logged in to the Contoso portal. And Contoso is the company that is responsible for managing the MRIs that are in the hospital. So Veronica has found out that she's got a bit of a problem. She's going to go to her portal, and she's going to type in the work order location. She is going to choose the type of work order, which in this case is maintenance. And her issue is poor MRI performance. And the related equipment that she is inquiring about is this GX MRI machine. And in the form that we've created, we give our client the ability to type in a service request. And so unfortunately, this machine is displaying an error code of 441. And she would like to start the service on this date and certainly have it completed by this date. Now, if Veronica wanted, she could go ahead and add a file, for example. Maybe this might be an image or something else. In this case, she's just going to go ahead and submit the work order request. What's happening here is that work order request, all of that information is being sent immediately to Dynamics 365. So now we're going to meet Laureen Clark. Laureen is the dispatcher back at Contoso. She is responsible now for managing all of those work orders. So what you're looking at here are all of the unscheduled work orders for Laureen. Here is the work order that Veronica just submitted. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. And you can see here some of the information that we have pulled from Veronica's message. Or her service ticket that she put in. You see here also that the system has captured a preferred resource that Veronica has, and this of course can help with customer satisfaction, especially if a client is very fond of a particular service tech or has a relationship there. If we scroll down, you'll see that the system provides you with suggested tasks for this type of a work order, as well as the potential products and services that could be associated with this work order. And again, all of this is configurable within the system, does not require any code. So I am going to provide some instructions for the service tech that I'm going to schedule, and I want them to meet Veronica on the second floor. And at this time, this work order is ready for us to dispatch. So there are a couple ways that I can schedule work orders. The first thing we're going to look at is our schedule assistant. Here on the left-hand side, these are all of the filters, if you will, that I can use to be able to locate the right skill sets that I need for this particular job. So for example, I need to find somebody who's got 2.5 hours available. I'd like to find somebody that is currently within a 20-mile radius of this ticket that obviously is available on the days that I need them. And if I wanted to, you can also be able to filter by skill set. So maybe for this MRI machine, they might need to have certification in maybe a certain product line or category or something like that. You can use all of these to help you be able to locate the right resources for that job. Again, going back to those metrics that we were talking about tracking. So here I see Brady Hannon at the top, and if you remember, he's a preferred resource, so that is going to be my first choice. And we're going to go ahead and schedule Brady for this job. All right, what you're looking at here is the schedule board. And here I can see all of my service techs that are in the field, and I can also see what they're doing at any given point. Notice here I've got this hole. That I could fill with the work order. Another way that you can schedule work orders is using this map here. So the map is showing me unscheduled work orders, and of course everything is color-coded. You can color code however you want to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and show you how a dispatcher can schedule right from the scheduling board. So down here I've got my unscheduled work orders. I'm simply going to drag this into the window of availability that Ephraim has. And as you can see, I've very, very quickly been able to fill that hole, and now Ephraim has a full schedule that day. The system also helps you be able to track status and then of course communicate that status instantly back to the service tech. So in this case, let's say the customer has called and they've canceled. I can go ahead and very simply with a click designate that. And then of course Brady is going to get this cancel message, and he's also going to remove that work order from his schedule for this day. Okay. So we've now scheduled the work order. Let's look at the system from the point of view of Brady, who is our field tech, who's out in the field. What you're looking at here is Brady's tablet that he brings with him on the job. And you can see here that we've got him scheduled for this particular work order that we just scheduled for him. And within the system, he has availability to be able to look at, or the ability, excuse me, to look at all of the details about this particular order. And let's first and foremost figure out how to get him to the site. So you've got integrated mapping and routing capabilities in here that will help Brady get to where he needs to go. Natively, the system supports Bing, but you can hook this up to any other type of GPS system that you might be using. So we will get Brady on the road, and he finally arrives on site. When he arrives, we're going to go ahead and have him change the status to in progress. And then from here, Brady has instant access to any background information on Woodgrove Medical. So you can see here he can call, he could email, and even for more information, he can see additional information like the service level and that they're on a warranty plan, certainly the address information. If I scroll down here, I can see any open work orders, and of course we have the one we're going to work on today. I can see the different assets that my company controls as well. So back at the work order, we're going to go ahead and perform work. So I mentioned to you that if you remember looking at the work order, there were suggested tasks. And so these are the tasks that were in the work order that are suggested. So Brady is going to run through this checklist for that 441 error that he got. And he can just quickly swipe as he's going through the checklist. He can then go ahead and add the actual duration and how much was complete. This can also be automated, by the way, but for the sake of this demo, we're just going to go ahead and add that in manually. Now, during the service order, we uncovered that he needed to maybe switch out some products. So we're going to look at the products here, and if you remember, these were suggested to me from the work order. We're actually going to use these gradient coils, so we're going to flip this to, instead of estimated, we actually did use them. We used one. And then if I click on, or once I save this, it will automatically record what that quantity is to bill. And then there are services associated with this as well. So the circuit restoration is part of that service. Again, we're going to go ahead and Brady is going to say, yep, I did that. And the duration was 1 hour. And again, it's going to automatically track the duration to bill and the correct unit cost and total cost. One of the things that Brady also has the ability to do is drill down into the actual product or asset that he is servicing. So he could use his tablet, for example, to be able to scan a barcode if he wanted to capture more information. Additionally, he could use, or he could look at additional information about the asset. So here, for example, we have a diagram of that particular product that he is servicing. So we've got the circuit restoration. The other piece of Dynamics 365 that really helps you be able to recognize more revenue is the ability for the service tech to note any follow-up that might be required. So for here, in this particular case, yes, we do have some follow-up. And Brady is going to type in that we want to schedule a follow-up inspection in a month. Again, when I hit save, all of this information is going to go back to Lorene so that she can immediately process any work that needs to be done on this order. He does uncover also a sales opportunity. So he's going to type a note in here, right, that the customer has expressed the need to upgrade the old MRI machine. The system has lots of configuration settings. So for example, if Brady states that yes, there's a sales opportunity here, you can configure the system so that it automatically creates an opportunity which could route to a salesperson. It's just another way that you can continuously maintain that visibility 360 degrees and assist customers. All right, so from here, Brady requires a signature. And again, with his tablet, he can go ahead and have Veronica sign for this particular work order. And now we are done, and he is on to the next place. Before he goes, however, we do have to switch, or we do have to change his status to completed. And again, this gets sent back to Lorene so that she can complete that status. Brady has access to a map that is going to be able to show him any open work orders that are still out there, maybe some that are not scheduled. Again, this can all be color-coded to your liking. It can also be set up so that you can look at the location of distribution centers. If in the event Brady does have an unexpected repair that he needs to make and maybe doesn't have that product on the truck, he can very easily route himself to the very first one that is closest to him. And speaking of inventory and parts, the system is capturing all of his inventory that he has on the truck, and of course it's decrementing it as he's using it. Again, going back to our metrics on inventory visibility. And this can, in this case, we have it set up this week for the work orders that he will be supporting. All right, so Brady has completed that work order. As I mentioned, all of that information in real time gets sent back to Dynamics 365 so that Lorene can continue to process the order. back on her scheduling board, you see that the work order that we had scheduled for Brady and that he completed is now green. Again, I mentioned that you can color code these different ways. So, for example, you might want to code somebody that's on lunch. You might want to code that a certain color, or somebody that's en route. You have complete ability to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at this particular completed work order. And again, I'm looking at all of the active work order resources. And we can see here, again, that information that Brady had worked on, and the status, as you saw, was complete. In my particular process, I need to make sure that Brady got a signature, and I see here that he did. And now this work order is ready for us to invoice. All right, so once I've closed and posted it, the system is capable of automatically creating an invoice. And let's take a look at what that invoice looks like. And here is the one that we just created. And you can see here that we've got the service that was required when he was on the job. It was circuit restoration, as well as the products that he used. And it has automatically captured, the detailed amount so that you have all of that information available. So back on the customer portal now. Remember, we completed it, we've invoiced it, but in real time, the system is capturing any updates. So for example, this one has closed, and Brady was able to provide some information here. This could have been what he put in on the work order on his tablet. And it automatically updates the customer so that they know what's been done, especially if they've got multiple tickets open. This can be extremely helpful and help aid in self-service, reducing the amount of time that support staff, for example, back in the call center, are on the phone. Another key thing that Dynamics 365 can help field service organizations with is the automated creation of work orders. So for example, let's take a look at this monthly preventative maintenance for Woodgrove Medical Systems. This is a way where if you've got like a maintenance program that you sell, that you can very easily have the system identify and automatically create work orders based on whatever time frames that you want. Maybe it's every 30 days or 60 days or what have you. You do have that visibility. As I mentioned earlier, the system is capturing all of this information, and you can report on that information in real time. So Peter is responsible for performance and looking at all of those metrics. And I want to show you a couple different ways that are right out of the box in the system that he can do that. And the first one is one of our metrics, first time resolution. And here the system is capturing that in real time so he can manage and monitor that at any given point. Again, in this particular report, and again, these are out of the box, what you're looking at here is what was the estimated versus the actual duration. So Peter might want to look at this and be able to perhaps note that maybe they need to do a better job, for example, estimating certain types of jobs, or that maybe there is some skill set configuration needed so that, maybe we don't have Efren on MRI inspections because it takes him too long to do that. Maybe he's not the best resource for that particular job. And then you can also drill down into performance at the tech level. And this can certainly help you address things like training that might be needed. In this case, like I mentioned earlier, MRI inspections tend to take Efren a little bit longer. He does fine when he's dealing with image quality. So I hope you've seen through this very quick day in the life demo how Dynamics 365 has helped you improve service delivery, help you measure those outcomes of whatever it is that you're doing both in the field, at the scheduling board, and so forth, and then delivering at the end of the day that positive customer experience. So again, I'm not going to run through these additionally, but I hope that you saw through the demo how the automated capture of all this information helps you measure these particular metrics. So I want to talk just a little bit about Socius. We are a Microsoft Gold certified CRM partner. We have made a significant investment in training, and what that certification means is that the investment in training as well as the passing of required certifications we have done to earn that competency. We've been a Microsoft partner for nearly 22 years, so we have relationships in which we can leverage Microsoft for things like level 2, 3, and 4 support for our clients. Additionally, we get early adopter program status for any new technologies that Microsoft releases. And of course, we also then get trained first because we are a Microsoft Gold partner. We're held to very high metrics. We're held to very high metrics of customer satisfaction, which has awarded us the Inner Circle status for 21 of 22 years. We're very proud of that. Microsoft depends on partners like us to provide exceptional service to companies because they don't sell direct. They sell through strategic partners like us. This is really important because we're the ones that are with you from the beginning. There is no handoff between Microsoft and us. Microsoft supports us when we need them, but they are not creating your demos, listening to your requirements, configuring your system, creating proof demonstrations, and so forth. We are doing that. I do think also that for us, personalized service and support is something that we specialize. We take a very personalized approach to implementing any solution for our clients, and it really starts with understanding and defining those key metrics for your project and the company so that we can measure both effectivity and satisfaction throughout the life of the project. The consultants that you meet in your evaluation cycle are the consultants that will work on your project, and this way we can start immediately and not have to get a totally new team up to speed on your project. We've served nearly 3,000 clients in our history, and we have a wide array of experience working alongside clients, and this extends to critical components within implementation such as integration of data, data migration from one system to another, preparing for your implementation success, and most importantly, preparing for change management and user adoption, which is often overlooked. So this concludes mastering the top 5 field service metrics with Microsoft Dynamics 365. At this point, I will open it up for questions.
There are no questions right now, but if you do have them, you can either put them in the question box or you can reach out to Lisa after the webinar if anything comes to mind. Her contact information is there on the screen.
Okay, well, thank you again for joining, everyone. Again, if you've got any questions, there is my contact information. Thanks for joining.